Okay, this is a reaction video. This is from Passport 2. My American family's first time in Germany, what shocked them the most. And I guess there were some things that shocked me when I went to Germany for the first time, but I'm going to see what he says in this video. Please click like, share, and subscribe for them, and like, share, and subscribe for Scott Dova's Interesting World. Let's see what this is all about. My American family's first time in Germany.
When our American family and friends come and visit Germany for the first time, what shocks them the most about life in Germany?
There was a lot that shocked me when I got to Germany for the first time, but I'm going to see if any of these, if they shared any. I'll be honest with you, when the first time I got to Germany, I was so out of touch, I felt out of place. And I swear my brother said to me when we got to the hotel room, he said, every time I get over here, I always want to go back. And if you offered, let's go back, I would go, okay, let's go back, go back home, because it was such a culture shock to me. I was just felt so out of place, but I eventually adapted and grew to love it. But that was my first impression of Germany. It was a culture shock for me.
Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. I am Donnie, and along with my wife Aubrey, we are two Americans currently living in Germany with our baby, sharing all of our experiences living and traveling throughout Europe. We've been living in Germany for about 3.5 years now, and to be honest, life in Germany is really starting to just become normal to us. Maybe, as you could say, we are Germanizing. Sometimes there are things that we've actually gotten used to as normal.
And yeah, that happened to me. It happened really quickly for me. Once I acclimated, everything became normal, and you started. And that happens. If you move someplace and you enjoy where you've moved to, and you've got a place to stay, you just become used to certain things. And then when family shows up, and they aren't used to it, you look at it from a different perspective, or a whole new perspective.
Parts of our life over here, and as we talk to our American family and friends about it, we forget how weird certain things are for them until they stop us and point it out. We've also been able to have a handful of our family and friends come visit us from the States, and we've loved getting to see Germany through their eyes and reactions to life over here, as they remind us of little things that we forget are different. So what things have we noticed have been the most shocking things about life in Germany for our American counterparts? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today in my video. That's normal to you, man, but not to an American. As many of you know, Aubrey and I welcomed our first baby into the world about 8 months ago, and Aubrey is still on maternity leave. We've done whole videos about the differences in the US and Germany when it comes to having a baby, and maternity leave and the amount of parental leave in general in Germany compared to the US is a massive shock to our American friends and families. I think that most Americans we talk to expect to hear that maternity leave is longer in Europe than in the US when they...
Yeah, I expected to hear that. My sister had 3 kids, and to be fair to her, I don't believe she was working when she had her 3 kids. She may have been, but maternity leave didn't really factor in my sister's experience, I don't believe.
They ask Aubrey how long she has off, but they typically never expect to hear that she is taking over a year off after the birth, or that this entire duration is paid maternity leave. So you actually have quite a bit of flexibility in Germany when it comes to how much time you take off in total, but basically you get 6 weeks before the due date, 8 weeks after, and then Aubrey chose to take another year after those 8 weeks. Now, you can actually take more time, but this is just what we chose to do. As to why any American we talk to is so shocked by this is because there is no legally required paid maternity leave in the U.S.
There's no legally required, but a lot of companies still have it. Okay, and it's up to the company to determine the length. Okay, and it's one thing you can look at it, from a perspective of, no, the government doesn't require you to do that if you're a company, but most companies, I believe, have that.
US, just 12 weeks of unpaid time off is available to workers. Of course, it isn't just parental leave that is shocking to them. One of the favorite questions of our American counterparts is always, so how much vacation time do you get working in Germany? Because again, the US has no...
Again, this is another thing. A lot of places in the United States, it's up to the company to determine how long vacation. Some people only get 2 weeks. My girlfriend gets 2 weeks. Other places get 3 weeks. Some places get 4 weeks. It depends. And a lot of it, you accrue it over a period of time because eventually, if you're with a company a certain amount of time, you get 3 weeks, then 4 weeks. That's just how things are in the United States. I did a video one time with a friend of mine, which we're talking about how America treats, and we were basically called fascists because we didn't agree with what the person in the video was saying, and I eventually had to take the video down because I was getting literally reamed by everybody from Eastern Europe calling me just slightly to the left of Hitler. Basically, they weren't saying that, but he's talking about differences. In the United States, it's just done differently. And, some people go, that's not fair, that's not right. Maybe it isn't right. But that's just how things are done in the United States.
Legally mandated minimum time off, although it is common for full-time employees to get around 10 days of vacation a year starting out and then earning more over time. So when we tell them the legally required minimum in Germany is 20 days of vacation, but most companies will offer more, maybe even starting at 30 days a year, they are completely blown away. Americans can't fathom this amount of time off, and often the follow-up question is, well, how do employers stay in business with all of their employees always taking so much time off? And to that, And
it doesn't work like that. I already know that. I think I might be able to answer this before he answers, because I've never seen this video before, is not everybody's taking it at the same time. And, I tend to agree, look, with all due respect to my American counterparts here who live and do how we do things in the United States, I like the way things are done in Europe a lot better, okay? Because it allows time. One of the things I always like to say, I work the job doesn't work me. Well, in the United States, that's how it's treated. And, again, it comes with part and parcel with the capitalist system. You also have a choice. You don't have to work there, okay? You can always up and move over to Germany like he did and have those experiences too.
Don't really know the full answer considering I am self-employed and haven't worked in a German business, but it does just seem to work is all I can say. So I would be interested in knowing from our German audience though, how many days of vacation do you get in a year? One of the best things to do with our American friends or family visiting is to take them on a tour of our area and then casually swinging by the local sauna to point it out. At first, when we tell them, that's our local sauna, the general response is, that's cool, and then you hit them with...
Nobody has a local sauna here in the United States, but it is nice.
Everybody is naked in there.
That really shouldn't come out as a shock that you're naked in a sauna. I don't know why that would shock Americans that way, because even though we don't have a local sauna, there are saunas in the United States. And if you've ever gone into a sauna, there are naked people in there. Okay, now, I don't know what else he's going to say about here. I don't know why that would shock American people. Maybe it shocks people in Oklahoma. I don't know. But it wouldn't shock me.
And then the shock really sets in. In general, Americans and Europeans know they have differing acceptance of nudity, and when Americans first step on a European beach, for example, and see topless sunbathers, they're probably going to blush and giggle a little like school kids initially, but America...
Not necessarily. I understand where he's coming from that, and maybe some people would. But look, if you've lived in the United States long enough, okay, and at the very least, seen enough... Even movies that take place in Europe or things like that, they have a different standard. That you can't walk, that they'll walk on the beach, the women will be topless. I don't think they'll snicker and giggle or something like that. I think most people understand that.
Americans still expect to see that on European beaches. However, most Americans definitely don't expect to find a public institution where men and women strut around naked to together, and especially when you tell them that German groups of co-ed friends and even in some cases families would go do this together. Now, to hear more in depth on this subject as well as many other differences in the perception and acceptance of nudity between Germans and Americans, you can check out this video I did last year. But in general, German saunas are absolutely one of the most shocking things to learn about, are just normal parts of everyday life in Germany for our American friends and family visiting.
It's one of the things that's culturally different. Okay, I would not gather, we wouldn't gather with a group of people and then go to the sauna together, strip naked and sit in the sauna. It wouldn't work like that. Men would be in the one sauna, women would be in the other, if they even did do the sauna. It's just something that is not done. Now, it doesn't bother me. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just not something that's done in the United States. It's something that's done in Europe, but it's not done in the United States. And again, I don't have a problem with it.
And even more shocking to those that venture out to give them a try. Real quick, I want to remind you guys that a link to our merch shop is in the description below, and I also wanted to give a big shout out to our patrons for supporting our channel. I'm so appreciative of you all, and if you would like to know more ways that you can support our channel, a link to our Patreon is in the description below, but also hitting that like and subscribe button goes a super long way in supporting us, so thanks so much for doing that. Something every foreigner in Germany always initially is shocked by is the German trash system, and this is no exception for our visiting American friends and family.
It's funny. I never really noticed the German trash system. I never ran into it, and the reason why I never ran into it is because, well, apart from the fact I didn't do a lot of trash, we'd get up in the morning. We would have our breakfast, and that would fill us up for the day. We didn't do a whole lot of shopping or things like that where we were required to throw things away. So I didn't experience a whole lot with the German trash system that would shock me. I remember sitting outside of the hotel and we'd get drinks, but the waiter would come and give it to us, but they came in glasses and take them away. I don't even think even if I threw anything away, it was usually in the hotel room. So didn't experience the German trash system, so it didn't really shock me.
When we first moved here, we were given a 33-page guidebook to the German trash system that was initially overwhelming for us, but then once we got the hang of it, we only once in a while now have a question about how to dispose of a particular item. But when we have family or friends coming to visit, we've added labels to all of our various trash cans, and we give a mini orientation to them all just so that they know how to throw something away. Typically, we'll spend the week or two there visiting.
It's funny. We just have, I have out in my a blue, which is for recyclables, and a green for trash. It's that simple. If I trash, put it in the green one. If I want to recycle something, put it in the blue one.
Visiting, consulting them every time they have to throw something away, and often the general progression of things goes from laughter.
And I didn't need a 30-page guide to teach me how to throw things in the trash.
From astonishment when they first arrive to frustration by the end of their trip because they can't ever simply throw something out without having to ask us how to do it. Or we'll just find many piles of trash that they want us to sort for them and fear that they might mess it up if they do it themselves. Now, this is usually when some German viewers like to make jokes about how they can't believe that Americans don't know how to recycle. And
No, we do know how to recycle. We just don't separate it into little things like you guys do. Okay, but we know how to recycle. Okay, the recycling is done at the recycling plant. We just put it in we just make it possible to take it to recycle.
Some extent, yes, depending on where our American friends or family are coming from. We do have those that really never have been confronted with any recycling of any sort, but we also have others where in their parts of the country they do have recycling. In fact, when we were just in Washington State visiting family, most homes had tiny rest mule trash cans, but huge recycling trash bins, and then separate buckets for glass and jars and bottles that were picked up from their home. So it isn't that recycling.
Like I said, I'm in Ohio, and again, like I said, I have a blue one for recyclables, green one for trash. Now that may be, the back way of doing things, and you may think I'm crazy for doing it that way, but that's just how we do it in the United States.
Isn't done in the U.S., but in many ways it's just that Germans do it so different that it can be hard to learn. And to be honest, whenever we travel to France or Switzerland, for example, we feel like our American friends and family again because the way they recycle in those countries is so different from how we do it in Germany. And we're often confused as to how to separate our trash in our Airbnbs as well. But overall,
you know, when I grew up, in the days that I grew up, it was take that, put it in there, done. But okay.
this is something that in general is something very simple to just throw something out in the US, and our American friends or family don't expect this to be something that is confusing or a culture shock when they are visiting Germany. German windows are extremely famous at this point, and it is one thing that you can be confident that any foreigner first moving to Germany will be blown away with when they first see how they work. It's also one of our favorite things to watch as our American family or friends watch in amazement as we open them up all the way, but then are in horror when they think they have broken the window when it later tilts when they are expecting it to swing open. However, even with the magical German windows having all these engineering tricks, the thing that always shocks our American friends and family the most are actually the roll-ons. Roll-ons are a super simple device that at first glance you wouldn't think Americans would be so surprised by because many American homes have blinds that hang on the...
Yeah, many people, we have blinds like that which are different than in Germany, but I didn't have to worry about it. We were in a hotel room, and I don't recall us using the blinds or using whatever the heck he called it at all.
The inside of our windows, but something about them being on the outside, them magically appearing from inside the wall of a home, and even more amazingly, the fact that it creates a completely pitch black environment when closed is mind-boggling and extremely warmly received for our family and friends suffering from jet lag and struggling with their sleep. For sure, of nearly everything Americans see when they visit Germany, this is a thing that we hear the most they wish they could take back to the US. In particular...
Yeah, that is very efficient and very nice. I like that. That's a lot different from what we have here in the United States.
In parts of the country where tornadoes or hurricanes are common, since the roll-ons can feel quite substantial, they wonder why these aren't a thing where they could possibly help protect windows in cases of inclement weather. We've talked a lot in our videos about how we are from Oklahoma and how Oklahoma normally has about the second best cost of living in the US, meaning it is very affordable to live there. We have our personal experiences moving from there and then living in Germany with the cost of living comparisons, but we have family and friends from different parts of the US, and it is fun to...
Yeah, if you talk about cost of living, I'll give you an example. And I've probably said this before, my cousin who lives out in California, lives in Southern California, he bought his condo, which is not much bigger than mine, for about $323, $324, I think is what he said he paid for it. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I don't know, but around there. He bought that, I think, in 2007, 2008, around there. That thing right now is probably worth roughly $750, $800 now. I would guess. There are places, if you talk about places in the United States like California, New York City especially, which is very, very expensive, versus cost of living where I'm at in Ohio. My condo was $73. Okay, like I said, not much bigger than his. So there's a huge difference in, his is, paid 4 or 5 times more than I paid for mine.
To hear their thoughts on the cost of things when they come visit us. First, most of our family and friends from Oklahoma or Texas, aka oil-producing states, and where economies are heavily dependent on the oil industry, are always flabbergasted at the price of gasoline in Germany. Generally speaking,
yeah, the gas over in Europe in general is a lot more expensive than it is in the United States.
Compared to Oklahoma, where gasoline is some of the cheapest, even in the U.S., we generally pay about 3 and sometimes up to 4 times more for gasoline in Germany than back at home.
And I've heard of that. And one of the things I would guess about that, this is just a wild guess on my part, I have no idea, maybe he's going to answer it for us, is a lot of people, it seems to me in Germany, and that's something that I noticed, did not drive a lot. They didn't need to. They would either take their bikes, they would walk, or they'd use the very efficient train system that was there. That's how I saw it.
We've gotten fairly used to paying these prices, and also we don't pay for gas nearly as much as we did in the States because we do walk so much more here to places, whereas in the US we always had to drive. But for our American friends and family who are thinking about how often they have to buy gas, they are thinking about it in these terms and can't imagine paying the prices one must pay in Germany. It is thoroughly shocking to them. However, especially when we first had our baby and we had family coming to help us start our new lives with our baby, our families were doing a lot of grocery shopping for us and they couldn't believe how inexpensive groceries and baby goods are in Germany. Aubrey's mom in particular, who now lives in the northwest of the US where the cost of living is significantly higher than Oklahoma, would opt for all of the more expensive brands at the grocery store in Germany simply because they were so way cheaper than even the cheap.
Right. That again, that makes sense. If it's cheaper, then having a baby is an expensive endeavor. I know that from my sister's experience with her kids, and her kids are pretty much all grown. Her oldest is 25 and living on her own. Her second born has just started his career, and her youngest is now a sophomore at The Ohio State University. So it's an expensive endeavor. There's no question about it.
Goods in her part of the U.S. I did a cost comparison video last year to compare how much baby goods are between Oklahoma and Rhineland-Pfalz, and I found that if we were in Oklahoma, we would be paying 25.8 cents per diaper, but here in Rhineland-Pfalz, we pay 18 cents per diaper. Of course, don't forget that most of the time, the American price doesn't include tax, and that would be included at checkout, so the actual price of the diapers in Oklahoma is higher than what we see here, whereas the German price is the final price with all the taxes included, so we're probably looking at roughly a 10 cents per diaper difference. But I can tell you right now, that adds up quickly when you are burning through those things after we start to switch our baby over to solid foods for the first time. So there are gives and takes, but it is funny to see our family and friends' shocking reaction to the price of different things in Germany, whether they find it more expensive or more affordable. To see who made it this far into the video, the random question of the week is: how many countries have you ever visited?
Well, that's actually easy for me, okay? I think I can count them on one hand. Apart from the United States, which is a given, Mexico, Canada, Germany, and I lived in Bermuda. So that's 5. That's the only countries I've been to, okay? My secret's out. I intend to visit more. I would like to visit more as I get older, but those are the 5 countries I've been to, but okay.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Be sure to hit those like and subscribe.
Yeah, please click like, share, and subscribe for Passport 2. This was an interesting video. And please click like, share, and subscribe for Scott Dova's Interesting World. This was interesting. Yeah, when you come to another country, things are going to shock you. Things are going to be different. And that's just the way it is. But this was interesting. I enjoyed this video. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.